Being a young composer is no easy path. Getting your music heard and performed at a high level can feel like an uphill battle. A university degree in composition is often just the beginning, and stepping beyond the academic world into the broader musical community can be a daunting leap. Thankfully, here in Winnipeg, a new initiative is working to change that. The Contemporary Music Interactive, founded by violinists Sophie, Reimer, and Sawchyn, is designed to support emerging Manitoba composers by giving their music the platform it deserves. CMI's inaugural season kicks off with 2 concerts, Friday, May 23rd and Sunday, May 25th at Fort Garry Mennonite Fellowship Church. Each concert will feature works by 4 Manitoba composers, offering a compelling glimpse into the province's vibrant and glowing community of creative musical voices. And joining me here in the Classic 107 studio, I am joined by Sawchyn, one of the founders of the Contemporary Music Interactive, and Dylan Fitzhenry and Teresa Thorderson, 2 composers who will be having works performed on Sunday, May 25th concert. Hello to you all. So great to have you here.
Hello.
Hi. So, River, I spoke with you and Sophie back in the beginning of January, and the 2 of you were doing a call out for submissions for these 2 concerts. How did that process go, and how many submissions did you get?
Well, that was a very exciting process. We ended up getting 8 in total, and it's actually more than we bargained for, as we were planning to program 6. But after receiving more than intended and going through them, we decided we really wanted to feature everyone, and we thought it would just be a lot more wonderful for the future of CMI if we could start off with an extra special concert with 8 composers.
Oh, fantastic. You and Sophie have done a lot of legwork to get this thing off the ground. A big kudos to you both. But you also had support from Groundswell. Can you talk about how Groundswell has been supporting the project?
Yes. So they've helped us enormously by providing some crucial funding for the project and also some very crucial mentorship. We've had sessions where we've been able to, look at our budget and get some expert advice on managing a very large-scale project.
Right. Teresa and Dylan, I'm going to turn it over to you. How did you first hear about CMI, and when did you submit your pieces? Dylan, I'll start with you.
I first heard about it when it was first announced on Instagram. I had a friend of mine send it to me and be like, you have to sign up for this. And coincidentally, at that time, I had literally just finished writing a string quartet. So it was the perfect opportunity because it hadn't been performed. It was just for a school reading session. And it's like the stars aligned at the perfect time.
Kismet.
So, yeah.
And Teresa, how about you?
I was also sent the information from a friend. So it was something I haven't had many formal studies in composition, so there haven't been a lot of opportunities like this. And I was just very curious how it was all going to work. And so I figured there was no harm in submitting something.
But you're a very fine pianist, so, you can hear how things are going to sound at the keyboard, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I always find this really fascinating, especially with younger composers, how to just get their stuff out there. Can you both talk about some of the challenges that you've dealt with in your past experiences of getting your works performed and out in the world?
Yeah, so when I started school, it was still in lockdown from COVID, and during that time especially, you can't really have many things performed. And coming out of that, the best way to get things performed professionally is to sign up for competitions and workshops across the city or even the country, and you have to win to get featured on those. So it's a tricky thing getting stuff like that to happen. So a project like this that is directed at new up-and-coming composers and kind of a collaborative event is super worthwhile for that, because getting stuff performed outside of the school environment is tricky at times.
Mm-hmm. And Teresa, I mean, I know you don't have a lot of formal composition background, but you're also a very fine singer-songwriter as well. Like for you, how has it been getting your stuff out in the world?
Yeah, so historically, I've written for bands or I've written for, ensembles that I've been a part of, and that's how I've had things performed. But I think as soon as you start writing, like if you don't happen to know a string quartet, then it is really hard. And in terms of compositions, usually there are age limits. I had a very funny experience where I'm in my 30s, and I had been sent a few competitions by friends, and one was like 30 and under, and then there was one for like older emerging composers, but it was like 40 and over. And I was just like, okay, this is the middle ground, I guess. So.
Right in the middle. One of the really great things about the two CMI concerts is that it's not just about the music. It's about the composition process and what the compositions are like. River, was that part of the submission process, just sort of reading about how the composers put their music together?
I think our submission process or submission selection was really trying to find a very diverse group of composers to present and allowing the audience to get in touch with each composer for who they are as an individual. Because as a musician, I know so many musicians who are also composers and so many composers, and it's really, I think, a fascinating and really wonderful experience getting to know the person behind the music.
Yeah.
Because so many dots start to be connected.
The personality comes out in their music.
Exactly. And so the original idea from Sophie Reimer, my co-director, was to present a concert series where that was an equal emphasis together with performance.
So you not only get to know their music, you get to know them as a person as well.
Exactly. And so our concerts will present a 50-50 ratio of presentation and exploration of the music as well to performance. So,
and Teresa and Dylan, how much work have you done? Have you thought about what you're going to say ahead of the piece?
Oh yes, definitely. I feel a little lucky because my piece is really story based, and I've thought so much about the characters, and they are real life Icelandic women and poets, and so I feel like I have a lot of extra musical things to talk about. So in that way, I've shared this piece before, and I've explained the story, and I feel I can really draw from that. But it's going to be my first time doing this all live for an audience, so I'm looking forward to that.
And Dylan, what about you?
Well, it's interesting. It's kind of the opposite for me, where my piece doesn't really have much of a story. It's a lot more just musical in aspect, but planning ahead and planning for what you're going to say in a presentation kind of makes you as a composer realize what the inspirations for your piece actually are. Because oftentimes while you're writing, you're just writing and you're not really paying attention to the minutia of what's going through your head at the time. Yeah. So taking a look at something that I wrote several months ago and seeing what else was going on at the time for me, it made me realize that certain things definitely affected the style and pace of the piece. And even though there's not a direct story to it, there's still a lot to talk about, which I'm excited to do.
I don't want to get too deep into the pieces, but I do want to just touch on the two compositions that are going to be performed by Teresa and your piece, Dylan. Teresa, I'm going to start with you. Can you talk about your piece, Hypo Ballad?
Yes, for sure.
Without giving away too much?
So the name was inspired actually by a song by Björk, which is called Hyper Ballad.
Yes.
And my friend commissioned me to write this piano ballad. I'd never done anything like it, but he's also Icelandic, and I had a little idea maybe I could draw on our shared heritage there. So I love to do a Wikipedia deep dive, and I found these two twin poets, Herdis and Olina Andresdóttir, who were separated at birth and then eventually met each other again in Reykjavik and published a book of poetry together. And so I won't give away too much, but their lives were very dramatic, and I just loved that the connection, I took it as an opportunity to create a theme for each of them and kind of interweave them and separate them throughout. And I explored some interior piano things as well as playing on the keyboard. So just trying to create kind of this wavy, bleak Icelandic texture, but also with a lot of joy. So,
And one of the nice things about your website is I actually took a look at the PDF of the score when I was preparing the thing. And so one of the things you do is try to duplicate Icelandic folk instruments with inside the piano, right?
yes, that's right. There's an instrument called the langspiel, which no one is quite sure how it was originally played. They don't know if it was bowed or plucked. So I took that opportunity to give the performer a little bit of choice. Now, the performer is me, so I know what choice I'm going to make. But whether you could, use, I thought you could even use a dulcimer hammer or just pluck the string with your finger or find any number of things just to create kind of an unknown instrument in the middle of the piece.
Amazing. And then Dylan, your piece is called Portals for String Quartet. First of all, who are the members of the quartet that are going to be performing the piece?
The members for that performance will be River Sawchyn, Ella Sheva-Schwartz, Sophie Reimer Epp, and Soren Lorentzen.
So who's the cellist is?
Ella Sheva-Schwartz.
Yeah, okay. And then Sophie and you on violin. And
Yes.
Then, okay, good.
Soren
The piece is called Portals for String Quartet. I gather, Dylan, you're into video games. I was on your YouTube channel earlier today. What are the portals, and is it a video game reference?
So I am big into video games. That's kind of how I got my start in composition. Wasn't by writing original stuff, but by arranging video game things. And although the portals, the titular portals of this piece, aren't directly meant to represent literal portals in the type you might imagine in a video game, it is there's definitely an aspect of influence that always kind of resides from my interest in video game music, that when writing certain styles of music, or especially when naming pieces, it kind of seeps through with this sort of fantastical aspect of it.
And River, what's the string writing like?
Oh, it's really fun. I think it's going to be very fun to play because I think the Portals title is very accurate, because I feel like we jump around musically in a way that catches your attention very a lot as an audience member listening. So I think it'll be a very fun experience to play and also to hear.
Oh, this has been so great. I'm going to wrap up the conversation by asking what you're all looking forward to most about the two concerts. River, as one of the brains behind the project, I'm going to get you start. What are you looking forward to about the 23rd and 25th?
I'm looking forward to it finally happening. Me and Sophie have been kind of tackling this project for around 2 years now, and we were originally going to do it last May and decided to push it to this May, and so I'm just really looking forward to seeing some faces in a room.
And Teresa, how about you? What are you looking forward to?
I just really love chamber music, and I feel like I was trying to think if there are other opportunities like this, not at a university in the city, to, see early works and see an ensemble that's really dedicated to creating compelling performances of those works. So I'm most excited about hearing my fellow composers and just see what the string quartet cooks up, because I know they're so dedicated to creating a beautiful performance.
Dylan, how about you?
I think I'm most excited for the presentation aspect of it, because I don't often get an opportunity when a work is being performed to talk about my perspective of it. Rather, when you're introducing a piece, it's normally all about the music, but getting a chance to talk about the sort of extended techniques and modern styles that I'm applying in the music is really exciting for me, because I feel like I want to be more on a level with the audience. And I'm also really excited to just sit and watch all of my fellow composers' presentations, because there's a lot to learn from them.
Fantastic. Dylan, Teresa, and River, this has been so great to have you here. The concerts on May 23rd and 25th, as presented by the Contemporary Music Interactive, are going to be just awesome. Thanks so much for taking the time to stop by and talk to me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For our Classic 107 listeners, the CMI inaugural concerts take place on Friday, May 23rd at 7:30 p.m. and Sunday, May 25th at 2 p.m. For more details, visit cmiwinnipeg.ca or go to classic107.com. I've embedded a direct link to the show page in the article about the concerts that you can find up there now. Dylan, Teresa, and River, thanks again.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.